Hey, are you listening? This is Claudia Patino, and you're listening to Volume Up by The Tease. I know I'm not your usual host, but I have been lucky enough, and I'm so excited to guest host a few episodes for a very special reason. I would like to introduce myself, and if you'd like to learn more, head over to my recent episode with Kelly Ellers to learn more about my background. I am a proud Latina born and raised in Texas with a passion for all things beauty. Since graduating from Ogle School, I planned to go out as an independent stylist, but I know you never stop learning. So I did the unconventional route and dove headfirst into a chain salon to learn real life experience and really test myself. While in school, I competed in the NATVA awards and became a finalist. That was something I never expected. And if I had not competed, I would never know what I was capable of. That experience changed my life. I realized how powerful it is to take a leap, be confident, and try something new. That is why I am so excited to announce the Shape Your World Student Competition podcast series. Yesterday, Sebastian Professional, in partnership with Wella Education, announced their new Sebastian Student Competition. This competition is for students only enrolled in cosmetology school with two categories: cut and styling. This is your chance to put your name out there and grow your career. Do not wait for the NATVA Awards, as this is the student competition to enter this year. This podcast was created to support and encourage students who are still on the fence or unsure about entering the Sebastian Student Competition, or those students that are ready to enter and need a pick-me-up. I'll be interviewing spectacular people such as Omar Antonio, Anthony Cole, and Morel Kogan, and they'll be sharing behind-the-scene insights on competition, tips on building strong entries, and we'll be having honest conversations so that you can really understand what to enter in this competition. If you're thinking about sitting back and passing on this opportunity, do not. This year, the Sebastian Student Competition is students' only opportunity to compete. Don't just take my word for it. Go out there and try it yourself. Let's dive into this week's episode with Omar Antonio to discuss kickstarting your entry with mood boards and model selection. Sebastian International artist Omar Antonio has been a Sebastian educator and platform artist for 19 years. He is a specialist in all categories: haircut, hairstyling, and editorial styling. But his true love of hair artistry is his expertise in avant-garde styling. This San Francisco, California native has traveled the globe representing Wella and Sebastian, both in education as well as his very elaborate main stage showcases. Check out Omar on Wella Education's YouTube for his 6-part series called Exposed, where he showcases his love for hair and art. If you're looking for inspiration, Omar Antonio is your guy. Hi, Omar, and welcome to Volume Up by The Tease. We are so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited. A little nervous.
Don't be nervous. I'm the one who's nervous. I am in the presence of a professional. Are you kidding?
No, this is great.
No, I'm just excited because today we get to talk a little bit deeper about the Sebastian Student Competition.
Mhm.
They're in partnership with Wella, and I just want to pick your brain about a couple of things.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's competition season, so I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Now, that's what I keep saying. It's literally the time. While everybody's hibernating, everybody's creativity just erupts. This is the perfect time to get your hands in some hair. Well, what I'll do next is let's dive into your background and foundation.
Okay.
How did you get started in the beauty industry?
The beauty industry, I think it all started when I was very, very young. As far as like beauty, fashion, makeup, music videos, MTV. I didn't start really looking into being a hairstylist until I was 26 years old, right? So I have 4 children. I was a very, very, very young father. And I got into beauty school. Um, and at first I wanted to be, um, uh, like a wardrobe stylist, a fashion designer. I wanted to go to fashion school. That's what I really wanted to do. And at the time, we had 4 kids. I wasn't able to take 4 years off to go full time at the academy. And so my second thought was, well, what if I'm a hairstylist? That'd be kind of cool. I've always been kind of punk rock and edgy and, dye my hair and not know what I'm doing. But yeah, I got into the hair industry and I went to Miss Marty's School of Cosmetology in San Francisco. It was amazing. I was such a little hair nerd. and I wanted to be good. I wanted to be very good. And after I graduated, I spent any spare little dime that we had, that our family had, for further education. And I took as many hair cutting classes, color classes, styling classes. Um, but I think where I'm at, in my journey, I started even before I started doing hair, I was very, very inspired by fashion and beauty and celebrity, and so that's where it all started.
I love that because
Mhm.
I can tell you wanted to be a fashion designer just by your style.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
beautiful. I love the look that you have.
Well, and then here, all these years later, I've got what, three sewing machines. I got an art studio. I make clothes. I make jewelry. I make headpieces, wigs. Giant angel wings. So I'm kind of doing
Absolutely.
a little bit of all of it.
Well, that's what something that I've realized too is that when it comes to hair, it's not just a job. It's a way to tell a story. It's a way to create art. And
Mhm.
being the artist that you are, it's so easy to incorporate all of those wonderful foundations that you've had within you.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. I look at hair as art, 100%. If you're going to pick up a scalpel, feather razor, whatever, it's absolute art. And that's why the more educated you are, the more classes that you take or things that you watch on social media, and you just pick up little things and you try them, practice, master that craft. And then that's when you can really, really unleash the artist inside of you. It really takes that experience. There are some people that they're just born with it. They grab a pair of shears and then they make art. And then there's other people like I need to get out there and like, oh, I like that. That's cool. And that's how you pick up your own personal style, and that's why those clients will come to you. It's because you're putting your spin on it.
I love that. I hear exactly what you're saying because people don't realize that finding your style doesn't come naturally to everybody.
No.
What does finding your style mean to you?
I think it's life experience. I think that's what it comes down to it. What is your style? As a hairstylist, we sit behind a chair, and each client is a little different. Maybe it's a little more conservative, like a little more punk rock. Maybe someone who doesn't have a lot of money right now. I mean, it's a little bit of everything, and we get to find a way to finally help them find their style. If you're going out and you like to party and you like to go to raves or festivals and stuff like this, and surely you're gonna pull something from that. If you go to Burning Man, stuff like that. If you're really into nature, if you're an executive producer, whatever, everyone through life with their life experiences, I think that's how personal style comes, because that's when you get
Absolutely.
out there and then you get inspired. For me, a lot of my inspiration comes from Berlin. I love Berlin. I love going to Berlin and watching all these cool kids. They don't even know they're cool. They're just edgy and funky and it's street and I love it. But I also get a ton of inspiration from Japanese street style.
Yes.
So
That's been number 1 on my bucket list here lately. It's
mhm,
traveled up to number 1 because you don't realize how people all around the world are being inspired by so many things and
absolutely,
just seeing style evolve, just the way that we carry ourselves here on the other side of the world. They're carrying themselves the same way with a different edge. So I
totally,
think that's incredible.
yeah.
Well, what's something when you were a student that you wish someone had told you that you didn't know?
Let me think. I think someone said to me one time, "You are where you're at right now because that's exactly where you're supposed to be." So if you went for that job interview at that salon and you didn't get that job, it's because you weren't meant to. If you want to get on stage, I want to be like Sebastian. I want to be on stage, and you audition, or you don't get that job or whatever. It's the same as yeah, I think that because I just wanted to be good. I wanted to be great. And I wanted it now, now, now. And I want more and more and more because I was loving it so much. But I think that could also get in your way. You just have to go with the flow. Everything's going, the way that's supposed to for a reason. Embrace that. Yeah.
I love that. I think that your background just proves that you've built such a strong career
Mhm.
through the training and the experiences that you've had. And so many students listening might be thinking, are they ready? And it feels like your journey just proves that you can grow to a certain stature in the beauty industry. And your success just describes exactly why competitions like the Sebastian student competition truly matter. So I would love to ask you some questions about that in
Yeah.
regard to the competition. What first inspired you to enter hair competitions?
So early, early, early on in my career, I was picked up by the Sebastian company. I had only been doing hair for 3 years. And that's how it introduced me to the world of competition. But I was more of, it's just, it's when every time I say this, it sounds so crazy, but I never competed. Like I was groomed on how to inspire people, and I know angles, and I know everything, mood boards, how to pick a model, location, anything, everything. Is it a profile or is it a face on? I know all of it. But I did photo shoots, right? But not competition. So when I started getting introduced to the world of competition as an educator or as a mentor, it's so cool because I could see things that they might not be able to see. I was able to pull something out of them that maybe they didn't see before, and be able to guide them and mentor them, and and have them at the end of the day have a photograph that they can say, even if they have to say, "Hey, I didn't win. However, look at this badass picture we created on my team," and that's amazing.
Yes, it's the tree that keeps on giving, I
Mm.
say.
Oh yeah,
Because
yep,
even with the ups and downs involved in competing, you still learn so much about yourself along the way.
every
But
time.
I think
Hmm.
we're so lucky to have your insight on this because although you've never done a competition, you essentially have competed.
Yeah,
Everything that you've done, you
yeah.
are who you are because of the things that you have done.
Yeah, and
So
I've been able to do some amazing stage shows, and then I come off the stage, and they're like, "Hey, we love that. We want you over here," and I have to come up with new looks and new inspiration, and yeah, I love it. And it's so funny because not too long ago, I put on social media, I pulled up a whole bunch of pictures that I've taken. I had to take photos that from my past photo shoots, and I put them all like a little collage, and I said, I think I'm going to start competing. And I had so many people say, "Oh, do it, do it, do it." So again, always learning. Tree.
that's beautiful. That's a good
Yeah.
point. So
Mhm.
why do you think that students should compete?
Oh, I think that a student should compete because I mean, talk about, the excitement of creating literally art. Okay. We are thinking about, we go to the student and say, okay, come on, we got to come up with a theme, right? Let's come up with a theme. You come up with a theme, and okay, what is the mood? Is it moody? Is it this? Is it that? And as a student, we're so fresh. The students and the students are the best because they have, us hairdressers as we go on. Sometimes we get a little stifled, and a little, um, the students are always, it's all new for them. So everything's new and shiny and flashy and this and that, and that's why a lot of times when I work with students, I a lot of times have to tell them, I need you to tone it back a little bit because you're putting this, all these ideas, and it looks like chaos, and how to smooth that and create something. But it's just that there's no feeling like it. There's no feeling like it, like competition and being excited and having people cheer for you and root you on, and again, I mean, when you're competing, you're seeing all kinds of new stuff. The judges want to see something new. I mean, it's all new. The judges want to see something new. Why did I pick your picture instead of that person's picture? Because there's something, one little something that goes to it, something that really catches my eye. And the students are doing that, right? They're all trying to grab your attention and keep it to their own. But one competitor can see all these ideas like, oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, I would have never even thought to do that. Or how did they even get that texture? And when you compete, you get to see all of that. It's not like you go behind the chair, you do one person, and then you go home. This is completely different. And most important for students, cosmetology students, even barbers, makeup artists, because it's still brand new. You know.
I agree. I think that's a good point that you've
Yeah.
made. And although you haven't competed in competitions, you've judged them.
Yes.
What's something that you learned from judging?
Judging is amazing. It's also difficult because I have my style, so and so has a style, so and so, with the panel of judges.
Because for the students, that's something new. I never knew that never considered it. There's so many judges with different styles
Yeah.
themselves, and being able to catch all of their eyes in unison. That is
Right.
so unique. When you talk about these competitions, and for a student, like you said, this is their one chance to really try something different. It
Yes.
might be similar to real world salon experience or
Mhm.
editorial work. This is the only chance, opportunity that students have to compete.
Yeah.
Now that the Sebastian student competition is here, that's only for students. There's a lot of the pressure about competing with other well-established stylists. This is their chance to get in here and show what they have at such an early stage in their career.
And that's why it's so important to have a real clear understanding of what you want to produce. I'm talking makeup, wardrobe, model. You have to have all of these things. And there has a lot of time has to be put into this, a lot of, so that everyone is crystal clear. The last thing I want to do is get to a photo shoot and the photographer's like, wait, what are we doing? Or the model's like, wait, how am I supposed to pose? It's like, oh my gosh, those mood boards are so important because you're going to
That's
compete and you don't want to constantly be looking over like, oh, well, oh, she's going faster than me, or oh, she has braids. Should I have done braids? No, you stick to the initial idea, and you go and you compete, and you be proud of your work, but make it yours.
I really love that point that you just made because the first step that students take is the concept of
Hmm.
planning and creating a mood board,
Hmm.
which is something that I know you're very
Oh, yeah.
experienced at. I'd
Love it.
love
I
to
love a
pick your
good
brain.
board. Hmm.
Absolutely. So once students have decided to enter the competition, which they all should, it
Yes.
can be it can be a little overwhelming, especially figuring out where to start. So, like you said, with the mood boards, where should they begin building their
I think
concept for the entry?
I think the first thing you need to do is really kind of picture in your head what is the mood of this. I do know, like, when you go to different competitions, you kind of see, like, in the past what have they done, stuff like that, to kind of get some ideas. Maybe that's what I did. But you find an idea, you find, I want to do something, really, really well. That's another thing too. You pick which category. Like, there's a haircut category or a hair color category or avant-garde category. That could be the situation as well. You kind of pick that first, and then you just, I do a lot of sketching. I do a lot of sketching and doodling, but not a lot of people are doing this. But I love to just get kind of a shape and an idea. And then from there, that's when you decide to, I mean, you go to the internet, you pull picture, 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 picture. Just get as many pictures. I've seen mood boards where they say, okay, they already know in their head, it's going to be a profile because I want to build something really, cool. I already know that. Then you find out, hey, are we allowed to use hair extensions? Because sometimes you're not. Yeah, yes, okay, cool. You get your stuff together, and you might go out looking for pictures, a beautiful model, avant-garde profile, just to kind of get ideas, right? And you kind of put this there on the board. Then what kind of model do you want? What do you want this model to look like? What color does her hair have to be if you're going to use hair extensions, stuff like that? I saw a mood board one time that there was it was a red Porsche, like a candy apple red Porsche, and I said, that's what color I want for the lips. That way, the makeup artist said, okay, I love that color. I know how to make that. We'll mix a couple of things together.
Make it a
But
little expensive.
oh yeah. And then we go through, maybe a page of wardrobe, different ideas for wardrobe. But I think that once you kind of get this together and things start changing, like, oh, that might be too much. Like, take that red lipstick out. I want my burgundy instead. So you put something else and you just build this whole thing. And that's when you present it to the photographer, the makeup artist, the wardrobe stylist, or if you're going to go shopping, you kind of have an idea. But that way, that even pictures of the different poses that the model will be doing. But what I always tell people is that you have that look. I want that makeup artist needs to know exactly what she's doing, so we're not wasting time. The photographer needs to know for timing and for lighting, wardrobe, so they can pick some really good pieces. You don't get there like, oh gosh, this is not what I wanted. This is denim. I want a satin. That. So once you get that all together, then go for it. Give yourself the whole day and you do it and do it. But that you start. So that's kind of like the journey, right? Start with the idea and then build a strong story. And it was great. So you get out there, you do the hair, and everything's perfect. Boom, last shot. Okay, now here you have 10 minutes. Switch it up, and you grab the hair and you twist it and you pin it. And now we go to this side and we lean, shoot it. We have time, 10 minutes. Do something else, slick it. And who knows? The third look might be the one that ends up winning the competition.
Yeah,
But you start
the
with the
least planned.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's happened so many times. So, yeah.
That's incredible because that's a big question that students have. Like how to regroup and do something whenever they're in the middle of designing and their process or their plan changes.
Yeah.
Suddenly they realize I can only use so much extension, so
Hmm.
much, you
Hmm.
know, artificial hair. So, what's some advice for a student that's having a creative block on
Hmm.
their mood board?
Yeah, when it comes to the mood board, I think one of the things that's most important, you're going to have a creative block unless you get your hands into that hair. So I say practice, practice, practice. You get mannequin heads, you work with different textures. Let's say you get this was a technique we did one time where we got some hair and we did a very light back combing or back teasing, whatever. And then we went in with a flat iron and flat ironed the teased hair and but then brushed it out. And it just made this like kind of erratic, texture that you can then either use as a filler to create something larger here, or it adds a little something that's good. That's something that you're gonna learn. You don't want to learn the day of. I'm telling you that right now. Practice, placement and this and that on mannequin heads, or even if you can practice on the model or a live model, just to get it down. Because every time, it's like anything that we do, every time we do it, it gets a little bit better. You know, it gets a little bit more refined.
Absolutely. I love that because it sounds like the key to competing is finding the balance between trusting your own creativity and remaining open to feedback from
Yep.
the teachers, mentors, and
Hmm.
professionals.
Yep,
So,
100%.
even with the guidelines that the students have, I feel like there's still so much freedom because they get to choose their model once they have their mood board in place and it comes to creating an idea and then executing that idea. From your professional experience, how can students approach selecting the right model?
Oh, that again goes right back to the mood board. Sometimes the mood board will tell you what kind of model. Uh, when in my early days when I would do photo shoots, I would have my friends or my cousin would come down. All these decisions make a big difference for when you're competing because you want that model to really wear your art and it's got to go. For instance, like for me, I make these big gigantic headpieces, with these big elaborate, very spooky, and but I can't put that on someone who's 5'4" because that it would just overpower this poor girl. So I go for the taller models.
Us short girls need a little love.
Right. So with that being said, I might have a girl who's 5'4" who maybe won't be going down a runway at Fashion Week, but she's perfect. The picture's here. Let's get that. But I'm not going to put something huge on. But you know what I mean? Like it's all balanced. It all goes back to the mood board, and it goes back to. I mean, this is like consultation. What is the face shape? What is the skin tone? What are the eye color? All of that matters in a photo shoot. Because the last thing you want to do is say, oh, can you pull this in? Can you make the eyes bigger? Can you then you're just editing the hell out of it. And then it's not even your artwork anymore. It's got a filter.
I love that.
Mm.
That is such a good point that you just made because if you don't choose the right model, you have to come in and edit a lot more
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Should
And
they choose?
yeah, and you don't want to, at the end of the day, like, that's not really what I had in mind. Oh, come on, you have time. Make it, your picture is going to show exactly how much work you put into it. If you half-ass it, it's going to be a half-ass picture.
Yeah. Is it ever a reality to have the model before the mood board?
I mean, that would be amazing too. Yes. Yeah, like let's just say there's this guy, his name is Casey Larios. He's out of LA. He is like, I've used him so many times. There's something about his look, just beautiful, gorgeous, but very kind of edgy and punk. And it fits my looks perfect. Whether I'm doing a faux hawk or doing braids or twists. We've done so many shows together, but it's just absolutely amazing. So maybe I would just say, what, let's do a photo shoot. I know I want to use that model right there. He's cool. He looks great. He can pose well. All right, I choose him. My ideas might just start coming for how do I want him to look. He's got this insane jawline. I want to create something that comes out and then it just rolls.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
That is so beautiful because sometimes life is what gives you that inspiration to create something so beautiful.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
what I'm hearing is that finding the right model to go with the idea that you have is one of the most critical points because something that I ran into whenever I was competing was I had the idea of creating a platinum blonde look And all my friends and family have the dark
Hmm. Hmm.
Latina hair like I do. There's no way I'm turning them platinum in time.
No.
And thank goodness I found the sweetest friend from back home who had done a couple hair competitions. So, like you said, she knew how to pose, she knew
Mhm.
her angles. Well, for a student that doesn't have somebody like that, why is communication with their model so important?
Yeah, it is very important. It is very important. If you have, let's say, someone that you have in mind who's beautiful, whether it's your cousin or whatever it is, having that open conversation, showing them the mood board. These are the poses, almost like you're doing choreography for them. How do you feel about this makeup? You don't want them to feel like a clown, right? They might, if they're not used to it. But I think also you just literally using your cell phone. I would put the cell phone on a tripod and just have them practice a couple of shots. It's happened to me before where I show up and they're like, pick a model. Okay, cool. Then pick this beautiful model. Great. And you get in front of the camera. She's this one face. And like, look over your shoulder. She's like this. Like, oh my gosh, no life. So you got to really
Yeah.
make sure that there's something there. And then again, going back to creating mood boards, so that the model can see kind of the facial expressions, stuff like that, and just making them, the more confident and prepared you are, it makes everyone else, because you're the hairdressers, the competitor's going to be a mess. It's like, oh god, running around, running around, running around. But yes, with a clear understanding to the model of kind of, that's the most important part. You don't want
Yeah.
someone to just show up and like, okay, here I'm going to do this big crazy hair on you and then pose. It's just like, so
Yes, building that trust with them that
totally,
although it's a high stress situation, you have an idea
totally.
and you have a plan to execute. So,
And you want to
since
have
students,
fun. You want to have fun. You want it to
yes.
be an experience. Like I said, at the end of the day, if I have to say, hey, I entered this competition, I didn't win, but look at what I made and be so proud of it. And that is the fire that will get you to the next competition.
That's incredible. I
Hmm.
think every student listening needs to remember that right there
Hmm.
because even if you don't win, you unleash a new
Hmm.
you competing. So,
Absolutely.
love that. S- Do you have any awkward or funny stories when you had to find a model and it was not what you expected?
Mm. So many.
Just share.
Um, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know which one. For a funny story. No, I can't tell that one. What's a
Of
funny
course you
story?
can. What do you mean?
Oh, I'll tell you. It's. I don't know if it's that, but okay. I'll just tell the story. I don't know if this really fits the question, but I'm telling you. I was asked to go to Las Vegas to the North American Hairdressing Awards, and they said, we want you, you're going to get on stage. You're not competing, but you're there just to show the hairdressers that are competing what you can do. And there was Wella, Nioxin, Sebastian, and Claro, I believe. And so they had one artist from each of those groups. So I was up there with my Wella friend on that. And they gave us two models and they said, do something cool. Omar, make sure you stick to the Sebastian competition ways. Like Sebastian has a certain look. Well is known for their reds. Maybe you want to do something red. But they wanted to show the umbrella concept of the four companies, and each one of us, our models have to, support our brand. Now with Sebastian, I'm known for my avant-garde work. So they said, Omar, knock it out of the park. Give them something so cool. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I got long strands of thin hair and I crocheted this erratic pattern and I made a big headpiece with a curtain of crocheted bits. It's all over my Instagram. A dress made out of hair. The whole thing was made out of hair. And me and my boyfriend at the time had these made like little triangles, little pieces, and scattered them all on the table. And then the model, I got to meet her first. She came over and she stood in our living room and barely anything. And we put a patch here and okay, sew that together. We sew it together. And here, sew it together. And we did the whole dress like that. And it looked so cool. But I told her when you get on stage, I want it to almost look as you're completely nude. So we got some very, very small, like flesh colored undergarments and with little stickers, that type of thing. And we got our dress and okay, this is great. So we get there and we're like, okay, I've never really put the whole dress on except for when we kind of sewed it together. So it's showtime. It's like, Omar, you've got an hour. Okay, go. Because you can't wear this for a long time, right? So we put the dress on very delicately. We get her into the whole entire dress. And she's like, okay, great. okay, this is perfect. I said, you look great. And then my second model was, I had a totally different look. Makeup is done, nails done, shoes are done. She's great. And since we had still have like 40 minutes. So she's kind of walking around. All of a sudden I look at her and the whole dress started to like droop, right? Because it's because it's getting heavy the more we sewed it. So it's like, so all of this started coming down and her poor little boobs were like Janet Jackson moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, like trying to get her. We're laughing and no, I'm not laughing. I was freaking out because we had to get on
Thank
stage.
goodness for
Oh
the pasties.
goodness, yes. So we're like tying a little knot here. Oh, so because I found it's called invisible thread. And I tied a little knot and pulled it through and tied it. And I'm rushing, trying to cinch this dress up because this is gonna be all stretched out. And we finally kind of got it okay. But now you can see all this spread. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. So the headpiece comes around and it connects to the neck. So we cut this off, right? It was sewn together. We cut it off. I said, take the dress off. And when she took the dress off, like when you take some like a glove off, it goes inside out. So when she took the dress off, it went inside and all the thread ended up on the inside of the dress. I'm like, put it back on. Like leave it just like that. But oh my God, that poor model. She was just like, everyone was like, oh my God, what do we do? And it went on stage. And yeah, I tell you, that's still one of the most loved pieces I've ever made. People's favorite, was that crocheted hair dress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I Yeah, now I'm gonna have to go take a peek because I think I know which one you're talking
Uh-huh.
about.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's such an iconic thing. Talk about wearing your hair, not letting the hair wear
Yeah,
you,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
love that. That is so
Yeah.
beautiful. I thank you so much for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a form of therapy for me because students need to realize it's a little awkward.
Uh-huh.
I'm naturally a really shy girl. I might not seem like it because I fake it till I make it. But when it comes to going up to people and asking them, "Hey, trust my wacky idea. Trust the crazy. Trust me."
Hmm.
What do you suggest for students that feel a little awkward going up and saying, "Hey, will you be my model for this? I think you're perfect for my mood board." How can they approach someone, a stranger?
Just like that. But the model's going to think you're crazy if you don't have a mood board. It's much easier if you say, hey, I'm a student. I'm going to do a student competition. I'm really excited. I've created a look. I would like you to look at my mood board and see would this be something you would be into, right? Because you want the model to feel very comfortable. But just if you say, just like you said it, but you have something ready to show them, it's different when I go, and this has happened to me before, where we were in New York one time, and we're doing a photo shoot, and my model canceled last minute. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're at a coffee shop, and I walked up to this girl, and I was like, hey, so you are beautiful, and we're right down the street at the Wella studio. If could you come be my model? But I showed her kind of where she got excited because I was very prepared. She was able to see exactly what I was asking for, and she showed up and did the photo shoot.
I love that.
Hmm.
That just capitalizes on the fact that your mood board is the starting point. Once you take it one step at a time, it helps get the awkwardness out of the way, and it helps even clear your ideas when it comes to
Oh
what you're
yeah.
going to be doing mentally.
Yeah, yeah, because like I said, it's everything. It is, you know, you don't want to say, okay, I have this idea that I'm going to pull all the hair up into two pigtails and do this amazing texture, but you never practiced that, and then you get there and it looks limp and you don't have enough hair, and then it's like, and then it's a waste of time. You have to really be prepared on the model's hair. Again, sometimes you don't get the luxury of using the model before. Sometimes you meet them the day of, like if you're going to a model agency or something like that. But practice is really, really important because you don't want to get there and be like, oh, that mood board needs to be that good. And
That is
you have to give yourself room for little wiggling. Yes, I wanted that candy apple red. Now I look at it, I hate it under this lighting. It's this blue lighting, and so you have to just be ready. And I think another thing that's very, very important when you're collaborating is also allowing the makeup artist to make not do a copy and paste. That's one thing. Like here, see this face, make it look just like this, but allow the makeup artist to give you ideas. I
Yeah.
love this look. What if, look, I got this new shimmer stuff. Look at this. I just got this. It's brand new. What are you thinking? Like, oh my gosh, that wasn't even in my brain, you know?
Yes, be open to some constructive criticism too
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like you've capitalized and really done a great job. You've done a great job talking about how to pivot, how to be ready, give yourself wiggle room. What's a big mistake that you see when selecting a model for students?
When selecting model is, again, just not, making sure that this person can model, has the model face, the look in her eyes, because the poses, practicing. It's just, yeah, just you gotta be really careful. You gotta be really careful. It's more than
I
just a
love
pretty
that.
face. It's that pretty face could also just not fit your idea, and so it's just proper planning. You got a proper plan, and don't be afraid to approach someone and say, hey, how do you feel about modeling? Whether what ethnic background are you, or whatever your pronouns are, anything like that. And one thing with Sebastian too is that we are all about just love. We love everybody. We love edge. We love punk. We love, you know, uh, what's this called? Like, effortless hair and stuff like that. But we also like to listen. I've been with Sebastian for a long time, and I've seen many phases from extreme avant-garde to, something nice and simple and beautiful for the red carpet. I've seen all of it. So you got to pick up, what do I feel like doing? Do I want to do big, crazy avant-garde, or do I not? Maybe I want to do high glamour, Then if you're doing high glamour, you better find a high glamour model, please. You're like,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
it makes a big difference. It does.
I love that. It does. It matters so much, especially with the different categories that you have.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid once you get started to decide what is the best category.
yeah,
Something that I ran into is that I had, okay, I'll do this category. But throughout the process and everything that I poured in, I realized actually this category might be the best to submit to because of everything that I've
totally,
incorporated here. So I
totally.
love that. Well, looking back at past competitions and the highlights, what are some examples of what inspires you and why?
What inspires me about competitions? I guess it's just, yeah, the whole thing. The most inspirational thing about watching people, enter competitions is watching their journey from beginning to end, the entire thing. That's the most rewarding thing. Like I said, there's no feeling like it, because you just see the entire journey. You get to see that model having that experience. You see the photographer. He knows lighting. I don't know lighting. He knows what to do, or she. They. Um, Wardrobe, just the entire process is quite lovely. It really is, and it's not for everybody. Some people can get very overwhelmed. Some people can, yeah. But I agree with you. Going backwards is that you might go and you say, "Okay, I want to do high glamour," and you do all this, you know, curling and styling, and it looks so great because you're going for glamour, But then you're looking at, like, but the color looks amazing. You might want to enter color too. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's great.
I love that. So don't be afraid to
Mhm.
really put yourself out there
Mhm.
and try this.
Mhm.
Well, what's a final piece of advice that you would like to give to any student still on the fence? Why should they compete in the Sebastian Student Competition?
I challenge that student. I challenge that student to enter this competition. I challenge that student to pick a theme, and I want you to surround yourself by creative people, and I want you to collaborate with color ideas. I want you to collaborate with different textures that you've seen. Do not replicate anybody's work. You could go out and look for inspiration, and you can put your spin on it. But this is very, very important to do it now while you're in cosmetology school, because the cosmetology school is giving you an opportunity. They're getting you all riled up, and that kind of, if you're introduced to it now, and you make it part of your curriculum, like, okay, I did that, right? If you don't do it now, you might never do it. You might get into a salon, starting off slow in the salon, building a clientele, you're going, you're making money, blah, 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 blah. You might get, when do you have the time, to compete? So unless we do it, but yeah, I would challenge students to enter this competition, because it's just, it's amazing. It's fun. It's amazing. And just like I said, just to have there's a guy, he works for Wella top artist, Enrique Lemus. And I met him, oh gosh, I think it was like 19 when we first met. And now he's well a top talent, but he entered all these competitions. I got to mentor him so many times. And now at his salon, is all his pictures on the wall. Some he won, some he didn't, but I mean that it's his own collection. What? 19 years old and now look where that's taken him, as an educator,
That is
inspiration.
so good. That is so good because something that I've always talked about is how competitions are an opportunity to build your portfolio and really show. It's your opportunity to do something that you might not have a client walk in and ask for something like that. This is
Right.
your chance as a student to shine and show if this is where you're starting from, what more you have to grow in.
Mhm. And the more you do, the more experience you have. Okay, once you get the competition, okay, you get into the competition, but then now you already have more ideas, and then you just start doing photo shoots. Hey, let's do a photo shoot. Come on, let's get do it. And you do something else. You do something. If a competition comes up, you might already have a picture ready. Here, put that. Do photo shoots, and that
Mhm.
builds your portfolio. That builds your social media platform. You know.
Yes. So I see that the competition is going to open up February 16th,
Okay.
and then entry submission closes April 17th. I love that. Like you said, there's students out there that might have a whole folder of looks that they hope one day to do. This is the
Yeah.
opportunity to pull that look out and enter in a
Yeah.
competition to be the greatest that you can be.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Omar, I wanted to ask you, where is somewhere that students can find you? Where can we
Uh,
look you up?
Look me up on Instagram, Facebook. On Instagram, it's Omar Antonio Sebastian. Same with Facebook. Right now, there's a six-part series on YouTube called Wella Education Exposed with Omar Antonio. And that's really cool, where a small film crew came here to where I live and filmed me for 2 days at my art studio. And you get a little chance to see of how we do our photo shoots and my creative process. I show some really cool techniques, including using that crocheting this erratic pattern. You'll see it on there. But yeah, my Instagram page is really where I post a lot, and you'll see everything from my family life, my work life, my art life, um, and and yeah, and I was very, very, very blessed. Blessed. I worked a ton last year, especially in Canada. Did almost a whole tour of Canada, and I have a conversation this Wednesday. I've got some stuff coming up. I have a show coming up in Cancun. Then I'm going back to Canada to do some events, some pretty big ones where I'm going to. There's two things going on right now. For me, we're helping launch the brand new Sebastian Faces Sebastian. So all new packaging. We're introducing some new touches. So I'm getting my audience excited about that. Doing haircutting classes and styling classes. And then the flip side of that is when I hit the road, when I go down on the big stages, and I get to close out shows with my avant-garde looks. I'm always thinking of new ideas and new challenges that I might get into. But yeah, I'm very excited.
That is so exciting. That just proves how you're the perfect person to dig into your brain
Hmm.
because you are doing it. You are doing everything that every student could ever hope for. And even a beginner stylist like myself, a recent grad, it inspires me so much. And it reminds me why competitions are such a good idea and to continue growing and just being the best that you can be. So
Yeah,
thank you
yeah,
so much
yeah. And I
for
and to
sharing all of that.
any student out there who wants to run an idea past me, ask me, what do you think of this? Anything. I'm always here on Instagram. Just send me a message on Instagram, and I'll get back to you. Any kind of guidance you
Thank
need. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Omar. You are one of the first to ever offer that. So thank you so much. I think it's be looking for my messages. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I'll be raging out.
All right.
That is incredible. Well, thank you for taking the time to share all of that. And just, I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
This
You
is
too.
definitely the highlight. Talk about starting the week off right.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward to the judging this. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to see what these students create.
I am as well. I can't wait. I'm going to do something with you that we do with every single one of our guests on the Volume Up by the Tease podcast. It's the Tease Quick Takes. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions and just say whatever comes to the top of your head.
Ooh, okay.
These
Fire.
are exciting ones, I
Yeah.
know. Okay, so let's see. First one. If you could master one skill, what would it be?
Master one skill. In general, if I could master one skill,
Yes.
I think it would be I'll stick with the art of collaboration. If I can master that, the art of collaboration and bringing out new ideas in people. Yeah. That's the
I
first thing that
love
came to
that.
mind.
That is such a good one, though. It makes me want to ask more.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but I won't dig in too deep. We'll save that one for later.
Okay.
Let's see. What's your current go-to song or album right now?
Oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? You know what? I don't necessarily have one. I have an art studio that I go to and I turn the music on. And right now I've been listening to like it's like deep house music, but it's Indian deep house music. And that's just the right now that's what I'm listening to.
I feel like it gives you a buzz. It
Oh
keeps you
yeah,
just
totally.
in such a flow. I
Yeah.
love that.
Because I'm
That is
creating,
so
I
neat.
need that background music to just kind of like help me, just be like chill.
Yes. I
Hmm.
just recently stumbled upon house music, which is silly because being in Texas, I've unfortunately been bombarded with Texas country,
Yeah.
but I stumbled upon house music, and now the kids get in the car and they're like, "It's a party in here,
Yeah,
Mom."
yeah. Yeah.
Even they're like, "Can I work on your mannequin? Can I do?"
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
So yeah, there's some science behind it.
Yeah.
Let's see. What haircut or color trend are you secretly obsessed with right now?
I mean, I've always been inspired and excited by mullets. And as we just saw on the red carpet, you see a lot of these guys with mullets right now. And so that's just my always my go-to, but just different techniques on ways of doing it. Is it wider? Is it longer? Is it shorter? The contrast, stuff like that. But that's just my always go-to, different versions of mullets.
I think that's going to take off even more because there
Mm,
was already a foundation.
right.
And now with people like you getting their hands in some hair, I
Hmm.
can't imagine. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So, in relation to the red carpet and all the celebrities walking down that red carpet, if you could do a dream celebrity's hair for a day, who would it be and what would you do?
I mean, what hasn't she already done? The Queen, Lady Gaga. I would
Oh,
kill to work with her. I just absolutely am 100% inspired by her hair team, her makeup team, her wardrobe, clothing. We are right now collaborating with her personal hairstylist, the Sebastian company is. So that's been really cool to watch. But yeah, definitely Lady Gaga. I don't know what I would do. I have no idea. I mean, talk about, what hasn't already been done what's yeah, Lady
I love
Gaga.
that. I
Yeah,
feel like that leads right into the art of collaboration that you were just speaking about
totally,
because it would
totally.
have to be like what energy she's in to
Yeah,
see what would we do.
yeah. And
So
that's I've always said that like I love the feeling of that being like let's say like a round table discussion where you have let's say we're going to do a photo shoot and the photographer's there, the makeup artist's there, and all and you bounce ideas off of each other. And maybe as a hairdresser, you can see the wardrobe and be inspired to do something even larger or tone it down and blah blah blah. I just love that whole round table type of production.
yes, I think that's incredible. You described that better than I've ever heard anybody describe it. But that
Mm,
just shows with your experience, you've sat at these tables and you've done
yes,
the unspeakable. It's incredible.
it's the best feeling ever. Yeah.
Talking about good feelings, what's something that made you feel good or something that made you smile this week?
Ooh, this week, let me think. What maybe? Well, let's see. Something good. So many things. I'll tell you one thing that made me smile is that I'm working at a new salon called Daredevils and Queens in San. Where do I work at? Santa Rosa, California. And I've worked it for a year, but I travel a ton and stuff. So I'm still the new guy. And yesterday we had our Christmas party. It was yesterday, and all the hairdressers and all the barbers, we all got together. And we all sat at this table, and I thought, like, wow, this is like my new family. Everyone's so amazing. But that really put a big smile on my face because it's scary being the new guy sometimes. you know?
It is. It is so scary. I feel like there's so many students out there that know that feeling. Like just
Hmm.
entering, just starting in the beauty industry, it can be so overwhelming. But I think that you prove that there's nothing at all to be afraid of. This is just something you have to let yourself shine in.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's change is scary. I left a large part of my clientele back behind. I moved into a new city, but it's scary. But at the same time, like I remember when I first started, so I was nervous just to walk in the doors, with like, but and luckily, my salon, the new salon, there's a lot of kids that work there, a lot of very young, beautiful, fresh mind hairdressers in there. So that just takes me to the next level. It's great.
that means so much because sometimes I get stuck in my head thinking there's no way somebody else feels this nervous or
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
feels these jitters. But hearing that you are where you are and it's completely normal, you're supposed to feel that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It's the human part of us, right?
Yep.
It's the
Yeah.
excitement to do something new.
Yeah. The
Well,
moment you
well, I
start feeling uncomfortable, it's because you're growing, you know?
yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. Well, I hope that wasn't too uncomfortable. I know that
Yeah.
was an unconventional way of of getting to know you a little bit better, but
Yeah.
I had to ask the questions. I love
Yeah.
those.
Nice.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Shape Your World podcast series. Students, this is your sign. Sign up today and enter the Sebastian Student Competition. Do not let this pass you by. This is your one and only chance to show the world what you're capable of and where you're starting. Student competition entries run through April 17th, and winners will be announced May 1st. You don't want to miss this. This is your only chance this year. Follow at Wella Education on Instagram or head to wellaed.com/competitions to learn more about how to enter. Make sure you use hashtag Wella Education, hashtag Shape Your World, and hashtag Sebastian Professional as you're creating your looks. Be sure to hit subscribe, rate, and review. And follow us on all our social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease. And send in questions to volumeup@thetease.com. Volume Up is a Tease Media production. This episode was produced by Monica Hickey and Madeline Hickey. James Arbaje is our editor and audio engineer. Thank you to our creative team for the custom Volume Up theme song and for putting together the graphics for this episode.